Hi, I'm Evan. This is my first time teaching on Board Game Essentials, and I wanted to show you one of my favorites. Corey, I forgot the box.
Evan, it's right behind you.
7 Wonders! This is a game played through 3 rounds, or ages, where the players are going to be trying to build up their ancient civilizations and maybe even building their wonder. Let me show you how to play. Let's go into the setup. For each of the 3 decks, return to the box all cards which are not used based on the number of players. We are playing a 3-player game, so any cards that say 4+, 5+, 6+, or 7+ will be returned to the box. The 3+ cards will be used. Randomly select the required number of guild cards and shuffle them into the Age 3 deck. We have 5 for a 3-player game. Refer to this chart for different player count games. If these steps were done correctly, each player should have 7 cards in their starting hand. Next, shuffle the 7 wonder cards face down and hand one out to each player. Flip the card to see which wonder you're playing with. Note, if it's your first time playing, try the A side first as they are simpler to use. We've already done this step, so we have Babylon, Alexandria, and Giza out here. Each player begins with 3 coins and you separate the remaining coins to form the bank. Separate the conflict tokens and place them next to the coins. Now let's briefly go over each structure type. There are 7 different types of structures in 7 Wonders. Raw materials, which are the brown cards, they produce the resources wood, stone, ore, and clay. Manufactured goods are the gray cards. These produce papyrus, loom, and glass. Each player starts with 1 resource already on their wonder. Civilian structures are the blue cards. They score you victory points. Scientific structures are the green cards. They score you victory points depending on your progress in the 3 different scientific fields, which we will go over in more detail later. Commercial structures are the yellow cards. They earn you coins, produce resources, change commercial rules, and sometimes earn you victory points. Military structures are the red cards. They increase your military might. This comes into play during the conflict resolution step at the end of an age. Guilds are the purple cards. They allow players to score points on specific criteria at the end of the game. Each structure's cost is listed on the top left. Some cards are free, some cards cost gold, and some require resources. Starting during Age 2, some structures can be built for free if the player has built during the previous age the structure indicated on the card. Also, some cards will tell you on the bottom right which structures may be built for free in the following age, as you can see here. So if you have one of these, remember to keep an eye out during the next age. Looks like we're finally ready to play. The objective of the game is to end the 3rd age with the most victory points using your military structures, civilian structures, scientific structures, commercial structures, and guilds acquired during the game. The game is played over 3 ages with 6 turns in each age. Each turn goes as follows. Choose a card, perform an action, pass your hand of cards to the player sitting on your right or left, and receive a new hand of cards from the player sitting to your right or left. When you're choosing a card, each player secretly looks at their hand and selects a card, placing it face down in front of them. Since it's Age 1, I'll place my remaining cards between me and my left-hand neighbor. So, I'm just going to give everyone their hands real quick. So, for example, let's say I'm going to pick out a card from my hand. I will take the stone pit, and I will put it face down, and then I'll take the rest and put it right in between me and the other player over here. They will do the same with their hands. Now, there are 3 possible actions with the chosen card. You can build a structure, build the stage of your wonder, or discard the card to gain 3 coins. More often than not, a player will build the structure represented by the selected card. As stated earlier, you must match the cost of the card with either coin, resources, or a previously acquired building. If it's blank, then it's free. So, I picked the stone pit before, and it is blank. So I'm going to play it for free right up here. See the way I play it with the resource showing and the name of the place showing as well. In some cases, a player will not have the proper resources to build a structure. The player may purchase a resource from a neighboring city for 2 coins. For instance, let me look in here again. Let's say I wanted to build this stockade, but I don't have wood to build it. If I want to, I could pay one of them, if they had wood, 2 coins, and I'd be able to build this. I'll put it to the side for now. Resources can only be purchased from raw materials or manufactured goods structures. You cannot purchase a resource from a commercial structure or the resources on some constructed wonders. Furthermore, you can only buy one of each resource from each player. So, if they have 2 clay and you need 2 clay, you can only buy 1. You can, however, buy your second clay from your other neighbor. Resources bought are only used during the turn in which they are bought. Players cannot refuse to sell. Some commercial structures reduce the cost of buying resources from 2 to 1. To purchase a resource, you must already have the funds available for that purchase. Next is building a stage of a wonder. To build each stage of his or her wonder, the player will use their chosen card and place it face down, half hidden underneath the wonder. The player must meet the construction requirements shown on the wonder board, not on the card. So, for example, let's say I wanted to build this, and I had the 2 stone to do it, this part of the Alexandria. I would take my card and put it underneath, like so. This stage of the wonder is now built. All wonders must be constructed in order from left to right. Construction of wonders is not mandatory. The card used to construct the wonder is no longer in play. So, for strategy's sake, you may want to use a card that you don't need, but your neighbor does. That way, they don't get the card next turn. Wonder stages can be built at any time as long as the requirements are met. Each stage can only be built once per game. And the last thing you can do, a player may choose to discard a card to gain 3 coins from the treasury. Cards discarded this way remain face down in the discard pile, the center of the table. This is another time where you could mess up your neighbor's game by discarding a card they need and you cannot build or just don't need. The last stage of each turn is for each player to hand their cards to their neighbor. During ages 1 and 3, you pass to the left. During age 2, you pass to the right, as shown on the bottom of each card back. Now we are quickly going to play through the rest of this age so we can get to the 6th turn. Okay, and we have made it to the 6th turn. At the beginning of the 6th and final turn of each age, each player will have a 2-card hand. Each player chooses one and discards the other face down in the discard pile. So, you would just pick which one you want to use. I'm going to get this one and then discard the other one in a discard pile. And everyone will do such a thing. Okay, and they're going to play them like normal. At the end of each age, the players first resolve military conflicts. Each player compares the total number of shields present on their military structures or constructed wonders to their neighboring cities. If the number is higher, the player wins and takes the corresponding conflict token. Age 1 is a +1 token, Age 2 is +3, and Age 3 is +5. If the player loses, they take a -1 defeat token. This is the same in every age. If the players are equal, no tokens are taken. If we look here, the pyramids guy over here, he's got 3 shields, and no one else has any shields. So how this is going to work is he's beating both of his neighbors, so he's going to get 2 +1s. 1 +1 for each neighbor that he beats, okay? And they're each going to get 1 -1 from him. Now they're equal, so nothing happens there. It just, you don't get anything from that. And then you'll deal out Age 2's deck the same way you did the first one, and then the next 2 ages are played through exactly the same as the first. Once the end of an age step is resolved after Age 3, we move to the end of the game. The end of the game is where you add up all your victory points. It happens in a specific order, and I would suggest everyone doing this together, one step at a time to keep everything in sync. Start off with military conflicts. Add up your military conflict tokens. Your score can be negative here. Then add up your treasury contents. Count your remaining coins. 1 victory point is awarded for every 3 coins. Leftover coins score no points. Now look at your wonder. Add up any victory points constructed on your wonder and add them to your total. If you did not construct them, you do not get the points. Next, add up the amount of victory points on constructed civilian structures and add them to your total. Next is the scientific structures. This is the only one that is slightly difficult. Science cards score points in 2 different ways, from each set of identical symbols and from sets of 3 different symbols. For identical symbols, 1 symbol equals 1 victory points, 2 symbols equals 4 victory points, 3 symbols equals 9 victory points, and 4 symbols equals 16 victory points. An example of the math, the number of points gained is equal to the number of symbols squared. The maximum can also be increased with the Scientific Guild card and the Wonder of Babylon. So that would make it either 5 symbols being 25 points or 6 symbols being 36 points. Now each set of 3 different symbols is worth 7 points. For example, let's say Corey is playing this game with me and he ended the game with 2 rune cards, 2 ruler cards, and 3 cog cards. Those aren't the actual names of the symbols on the cards. They actually don't have names, so I gave them my own names. First, let's add them individually. So that's 4 points for the rune cards because he has 2, 4 points for the ruler cards because he has 2, 9 points for the cog cards because he has 3. That's a total of 17 points right there. Now let's add up the different cards. So he has 2 sets of 3 different cards. That's 7 points, adding up to 14 total. Put it together and he has 31 points for this science cards. That's quite the haul. We have 2 more. The commercial structures. Some commercial structures in Age 3 grant victory points. So the card might say you get 1 victory point for each brown card that you have. The guilds are similar. Each guild is worth the number of victory points depending on the symbol on the guild card. So this one says you get 1 victory point for each red card that your neighbors have. These symbols are all explained in much greater detail on the back of the rulebook and quick rules sheet that come in the game box. Congratulations, that's the end of the game. Play again, it's fun. Those are all the essentials you need to play.